Welcome to the Alyosha Society, where we are pursuing truth, beauty, and goodness through great literature. Now, the Alyosha Society presents 5 in 5, where you get the who, what, when, where, most importantly, the why on works of great literature in about 5 minutes. In this video, we're going to be answering the question, why read Ulysses by James Joyce? Let's get right to it. Background and summary. Every once in a while, not often, along comes an individual who obliterates preconceived assumptions and completely revolutionizes the way we think about a certain discipline or maybe a sport. Think of Michael Jordan, for example, in basketball, maybe Tiger Woods in golf, Steve Jobs in the realm of technology. And James Joyce fits that description in the world of literature. Joyce was born into a Catholic family in Dublin, Ireland, 1882. He was given a rigorous classical education by the Jesuits, but he turned very strongly against the faith of his upbringing, eventually becoming an atheist. But Christian symbols continue to pervade his work, and Joyce really wrestled with his two sides. In the autobiographical prequel to Ulysses, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man, Stephen Dedalus, the protagonist, who really is James Joyce, is raised in a Catholic home, the name Stephen pointing to Stephen, the first Christian martyr, and Dedalus, the famous artist in Greek mythology. And so just like Joyce, Stephen Dedalus has these two voices warring inside of him. Ultimately, Dedalus wins out. The theme here is the triumph of the artist and artistic expression. Now, Ulysses picks up the action where Portrait leaves off. From the beginning of its composition, Joyce knew, he absolutely knew that Ulysses had to be a modern retelling of Homer's ancient poem, the Odyssey. Homer's work represents the quintessential work of art to the ancients, and Joyce was aiming at something similar for 20th century readers. Now, James Joyce was not trying to write a novel. He was attempting to write the novel to end all novels. Western literature had been developing for more than 2,500 years. What in the world could anyone do in the 20th century that would be new, innovative, unique? How about something that would serve as the sum total of it all? Something that would bring it all together in one work, the apocalyptic summation of all things novellic, the very Platonic form of novelness. In the wasteland where the shadows lie, one novel to rule them all, one novel to find them, one novel to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them, in the wasteland where the shadows lie. Okay, sorry. I get a little carried away. What Joyce is trying to do is he's trying to capture the whole of the human experience, the totality of the human journey and experience. To do so, what does he do? He reaches back to the first and greatest of such literary examples, as I said, the Odyssey. Each event in the story, which is just a normal day in the life of our everyman Leopold Bloom, June the 16th, 1904. And so every experience here is an archetypal event. It's an event that we all experience in some way. Leopold, therefore, is you. Leopold is I. He's every man. And his experiences are types of events that we all experience. Likewise, Molly Bloom, his wife, is in a sense the archetypal feminine. 18 episodes, all mirroring the Odyssey, or in some cases serving as a sort of parody. and each written in a different genre to reflect the archetypal episodes of Homer's Odyssey. Ulysses is truly a mind-blowing experience. Now, if I haven't convinced you yet, why read it? Number one, it's challenging, and challenges are good. I call it the Mount Everest of literature. No, it's true. Ulysses is not for the faint of heart. Most readers do avoid it. It's written in multiple languages, countless literary forms, a lot of made-up words, interior monologue, obscure literary references, and very specific references to things like Irish politics and Ireland and Dublin in 1904. But the obstacles are not insurmountable, and they're well worth the effort to overcome. Number two, it's a banquet. For the literature lover, it's a lavish spread. It's the ultimate feast. The Gordon Ramsay of literature pulls out all the stops in this cornucopia of literary genres. Number three, to better appreciate and understand modern literature. Yeah, Joyce takes the leap into the realm of interior monologue, stream of consciousness, and other revolutionary ways to approach the writing of a novel. And the list of those who admired him and were impacted by his work includes none other than Virginia Woolf, George Orwell, Vladimir Nabokov, T.S. Eliot, Anthony Burgess, just to name a few. Number four, artistic expression. Joyce spent 7 years carefully molding and shaping his masterpiece. It's a gem fashioned by a true genius. We don't always think of a novel as a work of art, in the same way that we think of a painting, like the Mona Lisa. Ulysses will change the way you view the craft of the writer. Number five, last but not least, Irish history and culture. Before Ulysses, I had little interest in all things Irish. Now, I have bookshelves filled with works that I'm eager to get around to reading. Works on Irish short stories and poetry and geography and history, and the list goes on. James Joyce sparked in me a genuine interest in the culture of the Irish. There you have it. 5 reasons why you should give it a try and read Ulysses. I want to say one more thing. Reading Ulysses is a bit like Dante, traveling through hell and purgatory, in that you need a Virgil, you need a guide. And I want to give you a couple of suggestions. The first one would be the New Bloomsday Book by Harry Blamires. Very readable, different chapter on each episode. Very, very helpful in kind of getting the plane off the ground. Another publication, actually, this just came out within the last year, Patrick Hastings, The Guide to James Joyce's Ulysses. I found it very practical, very helpful. Now, I've got a shelf full of resources and annotations and all kinds of things on Ulysses, but these two, I think, would be the most readable and the easiest if you're just getting a start. If you want to dive in a little deeper, you could look up the late Frank Delaney did a podcast. He went line by line through Ulysses. It's absolutely wonderful. It's called Rejoice. Questions or comments? What do you think about my list? I also have other resources on Ulysses I could share with you. Email me, Bruce@AlyoshaSociety.com.